But let's talk about Elizabeth Warren. You brought it up. She proposed a tax on the wealthy. U.S. billionaires would have paid a combined $114 billion for 2020 under an ultra-millionaire tax that Senator Elizabeth Warren proposed. And the way the bill works is anything you have, $50 million net worth, anything above it, it's a 2% tax on your current wealth. Anything above $1 billion is a 3% tax on top of your billion that you would owe. Based on all the wealth, American billionaires at the end of 2020, a decade of wealth on them would fund about 3/4 of President Joe Biden's $1.9 trillion coronavirus relief package. So they're kind of trying to get the money back for that. A separate analysis of the University of UC Berkeley, which, again, Janet Yellen estimated that the tax would generate $3 trillion in revenues over the next 10 years. An interesting study done by UC Berkeley.
God love him.
Amazon Jeff Bezos would have paid $5.7 billion in wealth taxes in 2020. Bezos would have paid $2 billion. Elon Musk would have paid $4.6 billion. Gates would have paid $3.6 billion. Zuck would have paid $3 billion. Thoughts on the wealth tax?
She's tried it before.
I remember that.
So, look, you have to have buy-in from your own party. And at last check, the Democrats were no longer a party for the people. They've long since sold themselves out to corporate sponsors. So they have to be on board. Where did you find Fresca?
You want a Fresca?
You want one?
Yes,
We'll get you a Fresca.
That's amazing.
Oh yeah, Fresca.
But Fresca's it's a really hard to get your hands on.
It is, but we have connections with
we got
Sam,
we got
Sam
guys.
here from Colombia.
We got a Fresca
and
guy.
Laura, and so Sam and Laura are.
She'll be here.
Yeah, you're going to get your egg sponsor like in 5 minutes because they're going to trade you for Fresca.
Today's podcast is sponsored by Fresca.
No, look, she's tried this before. The figures sound like they're big, but to a lot of these multi-billionaires, they're rounding errors. And for anybody who's offended by it, they're just going to leave. Just look at what's happened with New York and New Jersey and the people who have moved to the great state of Florida because they're offended by bad tax policies. These things never work out the way they seem, but they make for really good sound bites. They do.
Do they though? Do they when she goes out there and saying like I'm sitting there wondering saying, okay, you do a wealth tax on your next campaign. You need Wall Street to fund you. What are they going to say to you? Like, what are you talking
exactly.
about?
But that's
Be
what I'm talking
quiet.
about. That's what I'm saying. She's not going to get buy-in from her own party.
It's almost as if she's permanently disqualifying herself of ever running and winning anything.
But that's her job, and she'll get reelected. She'll be in the grave, and she'll still be in office.
But not at the highest level. You're talking about at what she's doing right now.
Of course, yes.
Yeah. That makes sense. What are your thoughts on it?
I guess my question is, well, number one, the tax code in America is ridiculous. I mean, it's the most complicated thing. Just you make $100,000 a year to do your taxes. It's very difficult. So now you're talking about these people who are worth billions and billions and billions, and the tax codes and the loopholes and the tax write-offs and this and that. You know, I'm the more and more I hear about flat tax. Obviously, Ross Perot talked about that.
Simplify it. If you
keep it
simplify
simple,
that's
stupid. Like,
funny.
The more and more like I think about it, it's like why?
I'm agreeing with Adam. He's very smart today with his glasses.
Yes, this is it.
He is.
But all right, but here's what I'm gonna flip it and not be so smart.
This is why you get the comments that you get sometimes where people come after Soy Boy Mafia. But go ahead, tell us.
You know what? Thick skin, all right, bro? I got thick glasses, thick
Plus,
skin.
he hasn't shaved for a while, so he's got an even bigger layer of protection.
So
works on him, though.
Flat tax. But
by the way, we just found out today that a young Rudy Giuliani and a young Adam, Rudy would never be in Adam's league, right?
No.
Isn't that what it is?
I would never date a young hot Giuliani. Never.
Yeah.
I would like to know.
Don't
I would
say
like
young
to get,
and hot in the same
go.
sentence
I would
as
like to
Giuliani.
hear
Just don't
our
go there.
people. We were having a conversation
put his
before the
picture up.
podcast.
Put a young Rudy Giuliani
let's see
picture
it.
up.
Come on.
Oh my gosh.
Okay,
Stop,
we're gonna do
stop.
this.
So
We're gonna do this.
Yeah.
Here I am putting my glasses on, trying to talk taxes.
By the way, all of you back here, you heard this. Adam thinks he's a dime. Okay. Adam thinks there aren't many men better looking than him in the world. But go to a young Rudy Giuliani.
Look at that.
Look.
Go to. Look at that right there.
That's a great guy.
Okay,
great
0
smile.
to 10.
This
What do you rank
is
him?
pre-comb over.
He's a 12.
He's not a 12, but he's at least a 7.
You said, okay, let's
He's
be honest.
at least a 7, 7
You
and a half.
called him a good-looking guy, and I questioned you.
Wait a minute. What is good looking to you? I think he's a good looking guy. Look at that. I think that's a good look.
What's wrong with that?
Go to the. What about the one on the left right there, Kai? Go down. You're going down. You're going down. And stop. Bop. Right there. What about that picture?
Which picture?
The one where his face is falling off and melting.
Buddy, he is how old in that picture?
That's right now,
What
recently.
do you think you're going to look
But
like
here's
at
my
80
point.
Like, you think you're going to look like this beautiful looking, handsome face you got going on?
I got to say, you guys still have your hair, so you have no idea.
The point that I was making about Giuliani, because obviously
Before you took shots at his
the
looks.
people want to hear about my thoughts on taxes. They can't wait to hear my thoughts on taxes. I get it. My point with Giuliani is
Here we go.
3 words. Fall from grace. This was America's mayor. We're talking about what a mess New York City is. We're talking about Cuomo. We're talking about de Blasio. Yeah. Danielle mentioned, why can't we get someone like Giuliani back? And I said, yes.
New York.
I said, yes, he was the man in the 90s. Cleaned up the mafia, cleaned up the streets, took the trash out. 9/11, he was America's mayor. He was a hero.
And I was there on 9/11, and he was everybody's hero.
Now he's a punchline in a Borat movie. His face is leaking. He's doing press conferences in front of Four Seasons porno shop.
Think about
He's had a fall from grace.
Think
That's
about
all I'm
the
saying.
2 men who were on the pile in downtown New York, W and Giuliani.
Yeah.
Whose legacy is intact? Who didn't say a word through all of Trump's
Obama.
administration?
And Obama.
And Obama, he totally graceful
His
man.
legacy is probably better now than it was
Of
when he
course it
left
is.
office. When he left office, he was.
But wait a minute. Are
he's a
you
prover-
suggesting the strategy is to disappear and don't do anything?
No.
Because that was his strategy.
No, I don't.
And by the way, I mean, we had Bush at our event a year and a half ago, and I got to tell you, when we had 100 people that took pictures with him, this is pre-COVID, you know what was the most common thing everybody said to him? They said, you know, President Bush, I got to tell you, I thought you were the anti. I thought you were the devil. I just fallen in love with you today. Oh my gosh, I didn't know there was this.
He got 63% of the Hispanic vote in the state of Texas when he ran for governor the second time. 63% of Hispanics.
That's pretty solid right there.
Uptight white boy.
Yeah.
Yale. So sorry.
You got a lot.
But he would have a beer with
A
you.
man of the people.
Yeah.
And he's
No longer he would have a beer with you, but he would.
That's true.
Yeah. No longer because he changed his life after an
But
incident. But,
I think what he did.
so you like his flat taxes, is what you're saying?
Back to that. I think what George W. Bush, clearly his biggest mistake was, invading Iraq and weapons of mass destruction. Essentially,
You mean Dick Cheney?
awesome.
You mean Dick Cheney?
he's a
If you
puppet
drink
for Dick
Fresca,
Cheney.
you'll be even smarter.
Damn, give me a
Glasses.
Fresca. And what did he do since he's left office? Not do anything stupid. Giuliani opens doors to just like, where can I open the stupid door? And he just walks right into it.
You know, I had a friend of mine that I gave this advice to one time. I said, you know what your biggest challenge is? He says, what's that? I said, when there's crisis, I never worry about you. He says, why? I said, because you're always going to come out of it. 100% you're going to come out of it. I said, but when there's no crisis and everything's good, I worry about you. He says, why? I said, because you freaking create crisis.
Oh, is that his deal?
You don't like to be in peace. Giuliani is a freaking wartime guy. He needs that.
He needs the drama.
Yeah, but that also means sometimes when you get into a street fight, you're going to get your ass kicked, and they're going to show that highlight of a knockout, and your name is Tyson getting knocked out by Buster Douglas. That's going to happen.
And this
to
is
some
what
guys.
happens with Giuliani over the
They
last,
need
3 to 5 years.
Politicians need a Hippocratic oath. First, do no harm. If there's nothing going on, shut your mouth.
Yeah.
And that's what George W. Bush did. He said,
but
look.
the point I was going to wrap up with,
Yeah.
but some retire on time. Some continue playing basketball, and their legacy looks bad. There's timing in retirement. Like Bush disappeared, legacy got better, right?
Yeah.
Some stay in the mix too long, and then there's too many opportunities to screw up. Because
And then there's Tom Brady. Hello.
yeah, 7, which
The
is,
man.
and by the way, he's still continuing.
So if you enjoyed this little short segment from the podcast that we did, here's another short segment to watch. Or if you want to see the entire podcast, click over here. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.